Welcome to the third part of the first lesson of political science, working of the Constitution. Now we are going to study judiciary system, role of judiciary. First of all, let me explain to you what is the role of judiciary. What is judiciary? Judiciary means nothing but the court. And our court system is hierarchical. First, we have the Supreme Court. Then, at the state level, we have High Court, and at the district level, it's subordinate court. And this court has to play a significant role in the Constitution has given them certain responsibility to look after the government, how the government is functioning, and to control the government. So, the judiciary system, the basic framework of the Constitution is that Constitution is dynamic. Dynamic means what? It's like a wheel. It's moving on. It's constantly going on. It's progressive. It's giving push to the people of the nation, and therefore it is a living document to change according to the changing condition. So Constitution we have to change. It was written after the independence. Certain articles are there, but at that time the social condition was different, and now the condition is changing constantly, and therefore we need to put some changes. Like in the previous lecture, I have told you 73rd and 74th Amendment. Women are given 33% of reservation, and Maharashtra has given 50% of reservation. That is amendment. Amendment means change. Change is done in the Constitution. So this to change the Constitution, Parliament is being empowered with. Only the Parliament has the right to change the Constitution. Parliament cannot alter the basic structure of the Constitution. They have to keep the basic structure, but according to the changing time, change has to be bring into the Constitution. For example, again we go back to the previous topic that I told you. Women section is given 33% of the reservation. Why 33% of the reservation? Earlier, women had no representation. I told you earlier that Masul and Mul, but now women are coming up. So these changes were made in the 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution. So the basic structure of the Constitution has to keep intact, and then changes has to done. If the basic structure is hampered, then the judiciary system, the Supreme Court has right to correct the government. They will tell government that what decision you have taken, what law you are going to enact is not according to the framework of the Constitution. Therefore bring changes in it, and not to touch the basic structure of the Constitution. Now I would like to tell you what is the basic structure of the Constitution. It is given in the preamble. So let us see the basic structure of the Constitution is number one, republic. Our country is republic. Republic means that the people of India elect its representative. This representation goes to union center, that is Delhi, and the majority of the parties will rule the nation. The elected member of the country will rule the nation. Prime minister of, in that case, is elected member who is ruling our country, is called republic. The second one is democratic form. Democracy. Our country has adopted democracy. Now, our country's democracy is a republic type. In England, it is not republic type of democracy. In England, my dear student, Queen is the authority, and of course, they have Prime Minister. But the Queen has hereditary, and she is in authority. Our country, in that case, is the the prime minister is elected member, and then he forms the government. Democracy means it is people's rule. People has representation, people has chosen the representative, they go at the center and forms the government. The next basic structure is federal structure. What do you mean by federal structure? Is that we have union government, we have state governments, we have panchayat raj system, that is at the gram level, gram panchayat, at the taluka level, panchayat samiti, at the jilla level, jilla parishad, as well as we have at at the taluka level, panchayat samiti, and at the district level we have corporation, that is the Mahanagarpalika, and all these are local self-governing bodies. They are given the rights to rule. Union government cannot say now your rule is over and it is the union government will rule by itself. No, union government cannot do that. It is union government at the center. Every state has its own government, as well as at panchayat level. So they have their own rights to rule our nation. Therefore, this structure is called as federal system or federal structure. Then we move on to next is that promotion of unity and integrity of the nation. Our nation at present has 28 states and 9 union territories. My dear students, country has to promote that unity of these 28 states is kept intact, and integrity is also supported. So we cannot say that now the eastern state will be a separate country. We cannot say that. We have to have promote of the unity. Our 28 states and 9 union territories has to be together as one India, one Hindustan. Then the next one basic structure, among the basic structure, next point is sovereignty. Sovereignty means, my dear student, that our country is not ruled by any external power, outside power. That is, no other country can come and interfere in the matter of our country. So it is called sovereignty. Sovereignty has to be intact. The next basic structure is secularism. Our country doesn't promote any one religion. All the religion are respected, and country doesn't have its own any religion. So this is called secularism. Then the next basic structure is supremacy of the constitution. Our constitution, भारताचे संविधान, is supreme. All the articles written over here, in this structure, they are supreme to us. And this is the summary of the constitution, my dear student. Although I have this constitution in Marathi, but you can understand that this is the preamble of our constitution, and we know that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and it goes further. So this is the basic structure of our constitution, and these no one can interfere, no one can take away. So we have to follow the supremacy of the constitution. No one can change the basic structure of the constitution, and the responsibility lies with the Supreme Court to see that no basic structure of this Indian constitution is changed. We move on to second point, that is significant judicial decision. Supreme Court has to take certain time decisions by hearing so many different people, and then come to one conclusion, and then this conclusion becomes the law for the nation. So our constitution has given every citizen a fundamental right. What are the fundamental rights? For example, freedom of speech, freedom to vote, freedom to move any parts in the country, freedom to go and do any business anywhere in the country. So these are the freedom which are given to us. They are called fundamental rights. No one can take out this right. Now, these rights are given to us by the constitution, and then certain things, that is important subject which court has given us as the judgment, is on the protection of human rights. So we have given certain human rights. It is the court, judiciary, who takes the decision. If anything goes on against the human right, then the Supreme Court will immediately ask the union government to rectify it. Protection of the honor and dignity of women. Women should be honored, and every women section should have dignity. In our country, women and children are the most neglected section, and therefore right of the children and right of women are very, very important, and their protection of the children and protection of the women is very, very important. Protection of the children, I would give you example that under the age of 14, no children are supposed to work, no child labor. So you could see the brick making factories, large number of children are working below 14. In the hotels, the wiping of the table, cleaning of the vessels, cleaning the floor of the hotels, so many children are engaged, employed over there. And here we have to protect our human rights and protect our children. Then we have to also protect the dignity and honor of women. So women should walk freely on the road. They should not feel insecure, and therefore in our country, we respect our children. We say they are the goddess, and therefore we have to protect our women section, their dignity and their honor. Student, we have to respect women, every women of the country. We have to protect them, as well as we have to protect the children of the country. Then we move on to next is individual freedom. Every individual person in India is been free in free nation. So no one can curtail their freedom. No one can say that you don't go there and you don't go and you don't do this job. No one can say otherwise. On such person, the case will be filed, and it is the court who will give the right judgment against them. Tribal empowerment is very, very important. Our tribal people are the neglected sections of the society. They are living in the remote parts of the country, in the forest region, and therefore they are away from the mainstream. So we have to empower the tribal sections of the society. This is important to understand. Democracy requires good governance or based governing practice. So our government has to be best. How it has to be best? First of all, government has to be accountable and responsible government. So how accountable? Whatever government says that they have to do. For example, now Modi government had said that we will put money in the Jan Dhan account, and the announcement is done but no money is put, then they are not accountable. But Modi government has put money in reality, and therefore the government is accountable and they are responsible government. The second point is effective and efficient government. Now we are in the corona phase. The moment our government came to know that corona patients are entering in our country, immediately government has taken the step and stopped all the flights and locked outs. So from this we can say that our present government, Modi government, is effective and they are efficient because they have taken a certain step to control the virus. The next point is responsive government. From this above example, again I can say that government has taken the responsibility of the people, that coronavirus should not spread in India, and therefore we can say that Modi government is responsive government. Transparency in working of the government. Government has to do so many tasks, so many works, and this has to be transparent. Transparent means it has to be crystal clear under the sun, that no hidden work has to be done, no work in the dark has to be done, everything has to be crystal clear. Then the next point is transparency in working of the government. Transparency means that government again does not do any work hidden. If they are asked to give accounts of certain things, for example, government has done any highway work, and this highway, according to the people, is the work is not done properly, then people can ask government about the accounts of the roads, how much money they have spent and why the work is not properly done. So that is called transparency in working of the government. The next is just and all inclusive development. Government has to be just. It should not be unfair and all inclusive development. That means only Maharashtra is developed and Bihar is kept behind backward, or only Gujarat is developed and the Odisha is not developed. It should not be the case. So government has to do all inclusive development. All the states, all the villages has to be developed. People's participation in the governing and decision making process. So government has to take into consideration that people has elected us, and therefore people's participation is most important in governing the state and even decision making process. Now I again here I would like to give example of Modi government, that uh, the lockouts were there, and Modi government asked all the chief ministers whether the lockout has to be cancelled or the or to extend it. And when he asked several people, then only he took the decision and extended it, which means decision making process he has involved people's participation. And that's why I could say that accountability, effective and efficient government, responsive government, transparency and of the working of the government, just and all inclusive development, and people's participation. These are the important points that whilst governing the country, good governance can take into consideration. In this chapter, my dear students, we took a review of the constitution and the working of the government of the on the basis of the constitution in the context of Indian democracy. There are many challenges before India's democracy. Governments act and policies have not put an end to all the problems. There are several new problems confronting us. One such new problem is that coronavirus and country is locked down from for 40 days. So it's a new problem which country has to face. However, what is important is that the people in India have developed a democratic mindset up. So, in the next chapter, we will study the election process in India. My dear students, here we have come to an end to the first lesson of political science, working of the constitution. Let me summarize that in this chapter we have studied democracy, then social justice and equality, and now the third point which we have studied is judiciary system, the role of judiciary. And my dear student, now I would like you to go through the text, read the text, try to understand it, and please complete the exercises in your notebook, write the question and answers. Have a nice day.